So now in my new capacity since 2 years ago, and working in Armis, still dealing with DATEX and European projects, I'm very fortunate to be leading one of the consortiums with many well-known partners, also from the DATEX community in this contract with DigiMove, which is a preparatory action for developing a user-friendly information tool on UVAR, Urban Vehicle Access Regulations. And for those who don't who are not quite familiar with the UVAR concept, the UVAR Vehicle Access Regulations have been established all over European cities in different schemes so far, and they are trying to be put in place by cities with different aims. Some are tackling emissions, some are tackling road congestion, or simply trying to return back to the pedestrians a little bit more of urban space. However, as usual in Europe, this doesn't take place in an harmonized way, and it's been deployed reflecting local cultural subtleties, different languages, and also taking into account that these regulations, these traffic regulations, may be issued at local, regional, or national level. And sometimes we find, taking stock of all the UVAR schemes that we've came across in the past almost 8 months now since the project has begun, we have found also some room for creativity in some of these UVAR schemes, which contrasts a little bit with the goal of harmonization, standardization, and also the role of predictability that has to come with traffic regulations. When traveling around Europe, you want to find seamless experiences when driving your car. So if you find something that you're not expecting to find, you are going probably to be fined and to be bothered with that, because you were not expecting that information to be in place in that particular way. So you feel a little bit misled by the public authorities and forced to pay a fine that you don't feel you should be obliged to. So what we are trying to establish with this UVARbox, and box comes from toolbox. So we're trying to develop a set of tools for UVAR to be better put in place in Europe. So we're enabling the provision of accurate, up-to-date, and continuous interoperable EU-wide traffic information services. This is in line with specification B from the ITS directive, the delegated regulation. Also, we're aiming to support cities, trying to streamline and simplifying their digital procedures when issuing these traffic regulations, and also facilitate the process of exposing that information, those informations at the level of the national access points. But in order to do so, they have to be supported with the development of an adequate machine-to-machine readable format, and that's where DATEX comes into play, so that beyond helping the cities putting this information forward, we can actually help service providers to take this up and update their routing services to the users on the road with the most accurate and up-to-date information possible. As I said, these UVAR schemes come in different shapes and flavors, just to give you a glimpse. So you can find them in as low emission zones. These are the most well known, but also parking regulations fall within the UVAR concept. Congestion charging schemes as well, limited traffic zones, so the ones that I was referring to when the cities want to simply return public space to pedestrians. And finally, also the pedestrian zones, the most well known in city centers, especially in the most touristic areas in the city center, that we want to dedicate to pedestrians and cyclists. So to showcase how these UVAR schemes are issued today, basically you have to have an authority behind it, a public authority, whether that's at EU, national, regional, or local level. It comes with either static and dynamic data, and there's a publication with the implementing authority, usually on paper, that specifies the location of the UVAR scheme. Also, if there's a time duration, if the UVAR scheme applies throughout the 24 hours of the day, or in any specific date and timing frame, to which type of vehicles is the UVAR aiming to address. And sometimes also there's a cost to come into these areas, as I mentioned, parking schemes are often falling within this remit. So there's a price tag attached to the issuing of a UVARbox, a UVAR scheme. Sorry. What we aim to do in the future is to redesign this process without compromising the role of the public authority, but we want to convert this in a digital machine-to-machine readable format using DATEX II, combined with a pre-formatted XML, Word, or Excel spreadsheet that helps the cities to understand the process that I was referring to a while ago for streamlining and harmonizing the issuing procedure at city level. So we're aiming to develop this friendly user tool that, well, this is only a mock-up, but this is how we see it in the future, and interaction with the website and a user-friendly tool where you can fill in some of the specificities of the UVAR, already taking into account the DATEX II model that is being developed within the framework of this project. So that's where we started. We started developing the standard and the data model in DATEX II that will feed and be replicated by this user-friendly tool for the public authorities to be able to use it. Ultimately, this will evolve and will end up in the national access points, and ultimately in the navigation devices for users to get this information up to date and as accurate as possible. So, final slide. What's up ahead of us? The UVARbox project is packed in 5 working groups. The first one was exactly what I said, the definition, structuration, and exchange of UVAR data. We're stepping in work package 2 that has to do with data collection and maintenance, and also the development of this user-friendly tool. That work package 3 will have to engage with the stakeholders, the service providers, to make sure that the provision of the UVAR information is actually taking place. After the project, we also aim to develop a sustainability strategy for the data collection and accessibility to live on beyond the 2-year horizon of the project, and therefore engagement and communication with the stakeholder and the community is really, really super important. And that is why we've established a country coach board that is a group of people that, through their reputation, their expertise, and their network, are helping out the pilot member states to develop and put in place these concepts. So we're at the stage of reaching out and bringing together the UVAR competent authorities, the cities and the regions, namely, also the national access points and community, the member states, and the service providers. We find this to be critical for the success of the UVARbox and the success implementation of our tools. For considering a little bit thought for or food for thought during the coffee break, it's important to signal, and this is the final message I wanted to leave to all of you. This is the first time that we're actually developed from bottom up a EU harmonized standard in DATEX II. So we're not developing profiles, we're actually developing the data model, the standardized, harmonized data model for this to take place. And it's, in my view, the first time that we will have a standard, a harmonized standard for electronic traffic regulations, which is the foundation for the mobility to be a little bit more connected, a little bit more cooperative, and a little bit more automated. We really need these traffic regulations to be digitized, to be harmonized, to be in machine-to-machine readable formats, so that you know, the machines that will be driving in our behalf in the future really may understand what are the rules and the traffic regulations in place, and avoid any issues, safeguarding security, safety, and flow efficiency. That is all for me. Thank you, guys. Pleasure to be here.